minus 47 points. That's what showed up on his credit score this morning. He paid every bill on time. He didn't miss anything. He didn't apply for new credit. Here's what actually happened. In the next 12 minutes, the one mechanism that explains 90% of these mystery drops, the exact date, that decides your score every single month, and the specific fix that gets it back in 30 days. Let's start with what's actually being watched. Your credit score is a probability estimate. A model looks at your behavior and estimates how likely you are to pay back a new loan. That's the whole game, and the model watches 5 things. But 2 of them are almost the entire score. Payment history is 35%. Credit utilization is 30%. Together, 2/3 of your entire number. So if your payments are current and your score still dropped, there's really only one likely culprit: utilization. And once you understand how that number gets measured, the mystery drops stop being mysterious. But here's the part that changes everything, and it's coming up in the next 60 seconds. The thing that trips up people who NEVR carry a balance. Utilization is the percentage of your available credit you're currently using. $5,000 limit, $1,000 balance. 20% utilization. Simple. The model cares about this number because statistically, people using a high percentage of their available credit are more likely to miss payments soon. Higher utilization, higher risk, in the model's eyes. Rough break points under 10% gets you the best score contribution. 10 to 30 is fine. 30 to 50, the model starts marking you down. 50 to 70, real hit. Above 70, you look like trouble, even if you're not. Here's the part nobody explains, and it's the whole video in one sentence: your utilization isn't measured on the day your bill is due. It's measured on your statement closing date. Picture this. You spend $3,000 this month on your credit card. You always pay it off in full, on time, no interest, ever. In your head, your utilization is 0. You don't carry debt. But if your statement closes on the 15th, and you don't pay until the 28th, then on the 15th your balance, $3,000. That's the number that gets reported. Not 0. 3,000. On a $5,000 limit, that's 60% utilization. Reported to the bureau. On a card you paid off completely 9 days later. This is why responsible people, the ones who never carry a balance, sometimes watch their score drop for no visible reason. They didn't do anything wrong. The statement just closed on a high day. This isn't some rare edge case, by the way. Average reported credit card utilization across the country sits somewhere around 30%, which means a huge number of people are getting quietly marked down every single month without ever knowing why. You are very likely not the exception. You're the rule. Now, here's the twist most people miss entirely. This isn't a punishment that lasts, because the model has no memory of last month's snapshot. Once this month's number arrives, the fix is faster than almost anything else in personal finance. Find your statement closing date. It's on your statement, usually about 3 weeks before your due date, and it's a different date than the one you've been tracking. Before that date next month, pay your card down to under 30% of your limit, ideally under 10. Same amount of money, same payment habits, just a few days earlier in the cycle. That's it. One timing change, no lifestyle change. In most cases, the fix shows up on your very next report, meaning the score you had before the drop can be back within 30 to 60 days. sometimes higher, because a tiny reported balance of 1 or 2% actually tells the algorithm you use credit responsibly and pay it off, which the model likes more than showing zero at all. Finding the date takes about 90 seconds. Log into your card's app or website. Look for statement date or billing cycle, or just check the top of last month's PDF statement. Once you have it, set a calendar reminder 3 days before that date every month for the payment you're already going to make anyway. You're not adding a new habit. You're just moving the same habit a few days earlier in the calendar. There are other reasons a score can drop. A closed account, shrinking your total available credit, an old account aging off your report, a hard inquiry from a loan application. All real. But if none of those happen to you this month, it's almost always utilization. Picture a normal Tuesday. He's not checking anything unusual, just glancing at his banking app before bed, the way he does most nights. The number is lower than yesterday, not because he spent differently, not because he forgot a payment, because 11 days ago, on a random Wednesday, his card happened to be sitting at $1,100 when the statement quietly closed. And by the time he paid it off in full a week later, the snapshot was already locked in and already sent. He doesn't know any of that yet. All he sees is a number that dropped for what feels like no reason. That's the moment this video exists for. Here's the part I want you to walk away with, because it's bigger than credit scores. The credit score system is not trying to hurt you. It looks like a punishment machine when it drops your score for something you didn't do wrong. But it's a statistical model with zero feelings about you. It doesn't know your name. It's watching one number on one day and doing math. Once you understand that, two things get easier. First, you stop taking it personally. The snapshot caught you at a high point. That's it, fixable in 30 days. Second, and this is the bigger one, you can work the model instead of against it. Time your payments. Keep utilization low. Leave old accounts open even unused, because they help your average history and your total available credit. Not tricks. Just knowing the rules of a game you're already playing. Most people go their entire adult lives without this ever being explained to them. They feel judged when the number drops, proud when it climbs, and never realize it's a mechanical output of a formula you could learn in 12 minutes. One mechanism, one date on one piece of paper. That's the whole video. Utilization measured on your statement date, not your due date. That's 90% of every mystery credit score drop you'll ever see. Move your payment a few days earlier in the cycle, and the number that felt like a punishment this morning quietly resets itself within a month. And the same thing is true of almost every financial system you'll ever touch. Retirement accounts, insurance underwriting, mortgage approval. All of them are cold, mechanical, rule-based systems that most people treat like emotional judgments. They're not. They're games with published rules. Learn the rules once, play them for 40 years, and you win by default. Not because you're smarter than anyone else, but because you're the one person in the room who read the manual. If this is the video that finally explained the number that's been quietly stressing you out, subscribe. On this channel, we take apart the financial systems nobody explains properly, so you can stop playing against them and start playing by their actual rules. The credit score drop that surprised you this morning wasn't a punishment. It was a training moment. Now you know one more rule than you did yesterday. there are more honest timelines where this one came from. Welcome to the quiet path.